Well, we are back with Micole Williams.
Yes.
And isn't she gorgeous? Houston girl, Houston girl. Now, tell us why you write.
Why I write? Wow, it is probably the most natural thing for me. I have this story where we always laugh about it within my family, but it's like my sister and I, we were like only children because it's a 15-year gap between us. So being the only child really was how I discovered writing and all the things that it comes from, or all the things that it allows. It allows me to express myself. It's an outlet, but it's also kind of like my connection with God. I was noticing a lot of prayers being answered through just writing simply, and then just in general, vision. We know if we write our vision down and we make it plain, it is very much happening. And so writing is a lot of things. And why I wrote this particular book, I don't know. It seemed like it was just like it needed to come out. It wasn't going to be letting me just kind of go through life comfortably without it being that I published. So when you have a story in you, you just have to be obedient, and you just have to make sure that you do what you can to make sure that the world has a chance to read the story. And they may have different opinions about it, and that's exactly what I like.
Well, I mean, the world would be kind of boring if everybody felt the same about things. And truth be told, Micole, I'm gonna be real honest with you. The beauty of you writing your story is that you had the courage to do it, to shout from the mountaintops your voice, your literary voice. So, you know, I applaud you, girl.
Thank you. And same to you. You're an author as well, so you know that feeling.
So let's talk about Toxic Ties Trilogy. Tell me a little bit about this book.
Okay, so it is actually the sequel to Tangled Web of True Love Tales, and since that is the book that introduced all 7 characters, she is the one that's the nucleus of the group. And with being the nucleus comes a lot of love as well as hate. So she's a diva, so to speak. She has a lot going on for herself as far as being a businesswoman. Deanne Duvall is basically, you know, just the empress of beauty in the town of Houston. And so we know Houston would be a large space to, you know, we do things big in Houston. So Deanne is very much the same way. And so with that comes a lot of love and hate, like stated before. And so with her situation, she actually finds herself having to pretty much solve her own murder. And I really grew up reading a lot of mystical, as well as like you have to kind of put it 2 and 2 together. There's some room to determine for yourself what's really happening. So I don't like to, you know, just say point blank, this is what's happening to her. So her coming to Jesus moment is a little different, and there are some sci-fi elements there where she's having to figure out. She sees her life flash before her eyes, and she also sees the reason for her demise. And it's up for her to determine what kind of life does she want, or what kind of death does she want, unfortunately. So even though sometimes we don't necessarily have that ability, so to speak, we actually metaphorically do have that ability to determine whether or not we're going to live or are we going to die. So she's definitely not the victim type. None of my characters are. Some of them are struggling a little bit more than others in that arena. They all have their own sin that they're trying to overcome, and it's very possible that they will.
So one of the things that I like about your storyline is the fact that you weren't afraid to mix genres. That is very important, and you need to be very skilled to do that, and I'm sure you are. Tell me a little bit about, how can I say it, the real you, because for someone to be a heavy thinker like that, you know, did you tell us a little bit more about your background?
Okay, my background is kind of interesting because I would say I'm a Jackie of many trades, and the creative direction is basically what I am closer to mastering, I would say. And what I mean by that is, you know, I started writing just out of love, but I went to school for mass communications, and I also minored in English. So, you know, I'm always trying to evolve. I'm a full-time teacher, so it's like it's a lot going on. So I'm always pushing my students I'm never at a point where I can just say, oh, I know everything. I'm always trying to learn new tricks. I'm always trying to get more insight. Like even today, when I had like a book signing, I wanted them to know I was still doing research. So my question was, what sin has been the most toxic in our society today? So it just keeps me going, just asking people, having that journalistic background, but at the same time, I want for society to be better. All those things are kind of factored in. Just the love for life and wanting society to be better is kind of what drives me. So I'm always learning. So it's a couple of things going on.
Well, you know, we can appreciate you being a Renaissance woman.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
And the beauty of all of that is the fact that you are in Houston, so Afro Vibes Radio will have you to come in station off the Central Station, because we want to hear more from you. So tell our readers, our listeners, and our viewers how they can find you.
Oh, awesome. I'm so excited about that. You can find me at Eclectically You Experience. It is a website, eclecticallyyou.com. It's the best way to find me as the event planner, creative director situation. But my first name and last name, Micole with an M, it's not a typo, MicoleWilliams.com. You can find all of my book information there. I am heavily on Instagram with the new company, so Eclectically You Experience is pretty much where you can find me on there, Eclectically You Experience. So.
Well, we want to say thank you again, and we love you already. So, you know, you got to come. You got to come to Afro Vibes, okay? So, thank you very much, Micole, and we will see you again very soon. All right. Bye-bye.